Hey, Scotty.
Yep.
Guess what?
Tell me, Gus.
We're fucking back, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, chew the fat with SB G coming back. It's a new year. It's a new us. Here we go again. Woo, yeah, boy.
Yeah, it's nice to have your enthusiasm back. To be honest, Gus, you lost it there for a minute, but we've clawed you back out of the hole, and here you are with your white flag up.
Look, I actually wrote a note here, and we were just discussing before we push record. Some 200 and however many days later since we last did this, which was pretty disappointing, really, wasn't it? We started off great, built the most humongous fan base, and
let them down.
Let them down. And I got a note here, buddy. Left a job, got depressed, found another job, buddy, and here we are.
Yeah, mate. Well, that's just life, and you've got to wake up every day and make sure that you're feeling mints and everything. And so, this was never supposed to be the priority for us, and it's supposed to be something that is not only enjoyable for us, but enjoyable for the people that decide that they want to listen. And you can hardly inspire the people that are listening if you're not feeling inspired yourself. But it was good timing, mate. There was a lot going on in everybody's life. When you're knocking on 50, brother. So it's all good, and I'm just glad that you're back to the old Gus and feeling great. And we'll just kill this, eh?
Well, cheers, my brother. Yeah.
Can I just interrupt and tell you, because this is me boasting, the last time we talked, I told you I was going to do one burpee every day, and I think I challenged you to do the same. I think I was at about day 7. Okay, so you just got to think about this. I got to 210 days. That means that every day, the next day I did one more, which means that the last day I did one, I did 209 burpees. The day before I did my very last 210 burpees. Now, that fucking crippled my shoulders, and I've had restless sleeps for like 60 days. But 210 plus about 60 days of when I stopped was about 270. So it's about 270 days ago that we last talked to humanity.
What? Well, actually, I challenged that because we didn't even talk to humanity. We talked to each other, and then it didn't record the sound very well, so it never actually went to air. So if I recall correctly, mate, maybe. I can't even remember what our last one was. I haven't looked back to see what our last one was. Fuck looking back. Let's just look forward, brother.
I can say that, Gus.
What's the maths? On 200 and what was the total number of burpees is what I want to know.
Oh, I could look on Chat GPT. I don't remember. It was fucking thousands, mate. Like 210 it does sound like a lot, but it doesn't really sound like a lot. Like if you had to do it for charity, you'd do it, right? But I can tell you when you do 210 because you did 209 the day before that and 208 the day before that, boy, oh boy, it got hard. There was actually a few people at the gym that got kind of semi-inspired and started doing it as well. I went to Japan and did it in 40-degree heat on the outside of a building. Did it when I was in Europe for the Factor meeting. I mean, there was just no holding back. It was such a good challenge, and yeah, it was really good. And there was lots of people who asked me about it. One guy, John and Nelson, that follows us. And it was super inspiring to talk to him about that wee journey. And I've definitely been on a journey since we last talked, mate. Wanted to lose my fat guts, and it was you're
gonna show us your abs?
This probably doesn't. No. But I've recorded. I documented everything from day one. When I say documented everything, I left gaps, but I documented the whole thing. And then once, it's probably a way actually. I should ask you how to do it. But once I get verified on Instagram through my other account, I'm going to start loading all that stuff up, and we can talk about that one other time. So hopefully that inspires a few people. But at 50 to do 200 to get to 210, it was courageous, mate. If I don't mind saying so myself.
Oh no, kudos! I'll give you the big
courageous,
the big thumbs up. Kudos there, as you would.
Thanks, mate. Yeah. That didn't bring my hair back. I can tell you that.
No, tilt forward.
No, I'm not fucking tilting forward, Gus. Hey, so obviously there's so much to catch up on. Like I could tell you about like how Japan was as a destination to go on holiday. I could talk to you about the insane factor meeting I went to in Girona, Spain. I could talk to you about my car collection, which is always fucking very good fun. Talk to you about cars and coffee that I've been to a few times. Talk about how the Ginger child is growing into like a rock star. How my other son is jumping on downhill bikes. Tell you about how insane walk's been and the people inside it just working like you've got no idea how inspiring it is, mate, to wake up and know that the people around you have got your back. It's unbelievable. But I guess there's actually been a lot of bike riding going on too. Like Nate Pringle's just turned up over in Girona. Got Lawrence Pithy in town, of course. There's a couple of other characters from other teams riding around, Gus.
So let's talk about that just out of interest. I was talking to Loz again on the weekend. And
you call him Loz?
Well, you know, me and Lawrence like this, mate. Yeah,
I know, I like that.
No, funny. He's just the nicest guy, right? Like, he's such a super nice guy. And out riding bikes and at the coffee shop, and I'll put a disclaimer about that. They were riding bikes over here and I was riding bikes over here, and we ended up at the same coffee shop. Let's not mix that I was riding bikes with him. Anyway, he always stops to say chat, and we're catching up, and we'll talk about this a bit later, probably about Adelaide coming up in the next few days. Anyway, I said, mate, how crazy was the Red Bull the glider plane? Did you see that on YouTube where they towed the glider plane into the air?
I did see that, but I didn't look at it close enough, and actually was told after the fact that Lawrence was in there. I didn't look hard enough, and I kind of presumed he would be, but yeah, I did know that he went and did that. So yeah, what happened there?
So he was actually in this. So they had a first attempt, as far as I understand. They had the first attempt, and then it all was a bit of a failure. And when they went back for the second attempt, it was then that Lawrence went over and was part of the team. Now they had. If you haven't seen this, you need to look this up on YouTube. Red Bull cyclist tow glider or something. I can't remember what you need to look up to see it. But anyway, they had a group of cyclists chained together almost like horses pulling a cart, you know, so chains off the bike with a bar between them to hold them apart, and they had all this. So they had like 6 or 8 cyclists all in a row, all connected together, and down the runway they went to, I think they had to do like 50 or 60 k's to get this thing in the air. And the first time they did it, or the first time they show on the television program, on the YouTube thing, when the glider guy pulls the pin to let the cord go to fly, which he's not actually very high off the ground at this point, the slack comes off all of the gear and goes straight through the wheels of like all the bikes, and like just breaks bikes like flat out. So they had a couple of goes at this and had a few dramas.
No way. Did that actually happen?
Lawrence was telling me that in between take 1 and take 2, there was a whole lot more testing went on with some just other riders on it, and they broke a heap of bikes apparently with shit coming loose and when the slack came off it and just feeding it between frames and things. So really funny story, or interesting story about that. But it's a must watch because it's pretty cool. And at the end of it, they get this thing well into the air. He's miles up in the air. He flicks the cord and then goes for a big fly, and then comes back round, lands on the runway next to them.
For the numbers guys, like what sort of watts are they putting out? Because I've got a Zwift bike now and I know all about watts, Gus.
How many do you do? I'll tell you if you can pull one or not.
Oh shit, this bloody internet is still breaking up. Just how many watts were they doing?
No, I don't.
You don't know?
I don't actually know that they actually said how many watts they were doing. Actually,
it'd be some serious horsepower, because you think of how, like when I do my gravel training, I tie a tire behind my bike and pull that, and that works extremely well to get big. How
many days a week do you do that?
How do I train? Oh, that's only twice a week, because right. I'm still going to the gym. It would take some serious horsepower, but I didn't really sort of think it's always the way, isn't it? Like YouTube and like cut out videos and everything always show the 2 minutes of the best stuff, but there was probably days of the worst stuff too. Right?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
No, amazing. So that was an interesting story. Yeah, and where were we there? With Lawrence in town and Nate in town, but good to see. Obviously, they're out riding and doing all of their training, but the whole community's out there riding them with them. It's so cool how they come home, catch up with all their mates, go riding again. And just really cool to see.
Yeah, I haven't had the pleasure of being out on my bike when those guys are around, but of course driving to work, etc. You see them, and it's like there's just lots of waving going on, and I don't know, they're just. I don't know if it's a Kiwi thing, but it's probably their personalities. They're super nice kids, right? But they're just down to earth, and they're not trying to be anything but themselves. And that's I just think that's if there's young up and coming bike riders around, it's not just role modeling, but it's actually just quite a beautiful thing to see. It could definitely go to your head if you get a big contract and you start buying Audi TTs or whatever else happens. And I think it's really nice. I really do.
And actually, I don't know who it was. Sorry, apologies, but I'm not sure if it was Henrietta or not. But I'm guessing it might have been coming. I was going up Evans on Saturday, it must have been, and a lovely young lady with long blonde hair and an EF education kit came screaming back down the hill in the other direction. So I'm not sure if that was young Henrietta Christie was back in town or not, but yeah. Where Christchurch is.
Sorry, mate. I just think it's wild that it wasn't really that long ago that you. I mean, just to think there was a pro in town would be unreal, and now it's kind of like you come back to New Zealand. Like they come back to New Zealand, and it's I don't know. It just feels so much different, but it feels so super cool that there'd be multiple pros coming back to Christchurch. Which if the weather's right here, it is a flippin' magical place to ride your bike. I know we haven't had the best summer so far, but like it's still a very cool place to ride your bike. And to think that those guys are coming back here and doing part of their prep for the new season and catching up with friends and family and everything, I just think it's absolutely dope. I think it's great for the brand of cycling, but I also think it's it's super inspiring for these young kids. All of a sudden, the impossible or the unreachable is actually reachable. I just think it's amazing. So bravo to all those, I call them kids, but they are to me, I guess, but to all those young adults that are back here in Christchurch and waving out to the other guys. It's pretty cool.
I mean, just New Zealand.
Hey, Gus, I have to interrupt. We're 12 minutes in. We're coming up to that horrible 13, which is my super unlucky number. Tell me that this is recording. I don't have to do it again.
Mate, there's a little red box in the top corner. That's how you know it's recording, you muppet. There's 12 minutes of recording going on.
Oh, okay. Do you want to go back 270 days and talk about the recording? Should we talk about
this? I can hear you this time, so it should be fine.
Yeah, right. Good boy.
You're using your big boy voice tonight, which is helpful.
Yeah. And I've got my Bieber t-shirt on because I honestly think Bieber. Isn't this weird? This is probably this is the narcissism coming through, but I feel like if I met Justin and I just said to him, "Hey mate, if you need a place, you can come and live in." Now I'm actually in the what we call the granddad flat here at the house. As you know, Dad died this time last year, so it's sort of a 1 year anniversary. But this is the dead centre of Horsell now. This place, and
Ladbrokes.
What?
Ladbrokes, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, but it's the dead centre of any place. This house, and I just feel like if I could just grab Bieber, Justin we call him, and say, "Hey mate, if you just come to Serenity, come and just live in the place for a couple of days. No one's going to know you. No one's going to know you. Chill out. Go down to the coffee shop. I think it's going to save his life. I'm worried about Justin.
Mate, I don't even know if the guy still exists, does he? That's how in touch I am with him.
Yep. No, he does.
What does he do now? Does he actually sing still?
He's got a great voice. He's a very talented kid. He's an adult. And anyway, he was born, I think, in 94. That's why I've got the 94 t-shirt on, and I'm just wearing this out of respect for anyone that was, what's the word for it? Like, anyone that was missing him, or what's the word I'm trying to look for? Like yearning is the word. Anyone that was yearning for a bit of Bieber, I'm bringing sexy back with this Bieber t-shirt.
Anybody that's got a bloody Justin Bieber CD that they're trying to get rid of out of their collection, drop it into Scotty Brown's and Bike Emporium.
Jesus Christ, that could be big. Okay, enough about me. Now talk to me about the last time we briefly talked. I think you went to Cars and Coffee. I know this is not cycling, but let's just talk about life a bit. I think you took your car to Cars and Coffee, or you took it to...
No, you're correct.
Or did you take your car to a night where you did a burnout or something? But you didn't do it? Yeah. I just think that's cool. To let people know.
No, I did go to Cars and Coffee. I did go take the Corvette to Cars and Coffee, and did go and support one of the Christchurch Car Society evening things that they have, where they go to Bunnings or wherever they go and collect, and which is actually almost more interesting than Cars and Coffee. I really love, and there's some great cars there, right?
Yeah.
And some great people. You go to one of those other car meet things that they have at a Mitre 10 or a Bunnings or wherever they're having it organised and things. And it's another whole experience again. It's almost like your whole childhood's back, you know, like you're sort of this old guy walking around, and there's like all these young guys who are just only finding their automotive passion and things. And it's super cool.
Yeah, no, it is. It's cool. I think Cars and Coffee is on this weekend. The 18th, would that be right? Or maybe it's next weekend. I was hoping to take my new painted car that I did over Christmas time there, but I'm not going to. So, but yeah, I think maybe, what day is it? Is it Tuesday? No, maybe it is a Sunday actually. That should be interesting. I can't wait to show you. I'll get the pictures up for the next one we do, and people can thumb it up or thumb it down to whether they like it or not. But I did it myself over Christmas time. It goes into the paint shop to get clear coated, and then there's no going back. I can't wait to show you.
Excellent. I just thinking about putting the pictures up here, and I guess I've got other pictures in the lob there. I was even trying to think what we even do with this. Do we put it on YouTube? We do put it on YouTube, don't we? And we put it up as a podcast. Good God!
I mean, the majority of, as you know, the majority of people listen to this, which I think's a real waste of two good-looking. I think. Well, people are watching it. It'd be nice to put some stuff up. I'll be honest. Tonight's one's not going to score us any brownie points with anyone. I don't think. My voice is a bit croaky, and I don't really have a lot to say tonight.
Fuck! You started off saying about all the things you could talk about, and I was like, "Well, I'm just going to unplug and f off because you're going to talk for 2 hours all on your own."
Do people really want to hear about me going to fucking doing a boot camp in Thailand or hanging out with?
There'll definitely be a piece of the spectrum that would want to listen to that. There'll be somebody on YouTube that will be searching that. Okay, no doubting. Maybe that's not. Right now we'll take the aim of the game. We'll take whoever we can get right now. But do tell me about, because I am interested, and there is a lot of cycling people are going to listen to this.
Sure,
you know, more than 6 people is a lot. About the Factor visit.
Yeah, okay. Well, I will tell you about that. So, jumped on a plane and went to. Actually, I flew to Italy, and it was a great meeting with. I flew into Milan or Malpensa and got picked up by my friend Marco. Now, Marco was the international sales manager for Carrera Bikes. Back when Carrera Bikes were absolutely just hauling ass. A pro rider himself, rode the Giro d'Italia, became a very good friend of mine, was very good friends with Darren Shand, and Shandy and him had touched base a lot when Shandy was travelling with the All Blacks, and of course Marco is rugby mad, he's Italian, so as well as cycling, he was a rugby fan. And so I met up with Marco. He's now working at a wee company called Tatici. I actually did a video from there on Instagram, which a lot of people thought was just, we got a lot of feedback on that. It was just like, it was a very cool showroom and a very cool company. The funny thing about that is that the sister company, or the parent company, I should say, that owns Tatici Bikes, who Marco works for, is owned by a very, very wealthy bajillionaire, and his son is now working for the company. They make 30 million pairs of socks a year. They make every piece of clothing under license for Jeep, Louis Vuitton. They were just, I don't even know if I should say it, but they were just about to go into negotiations to make Hoka One shoes. They make every piece of Canadian Goose clothing except for the jackets. So this company's wild. Like, it's fucking off the charts. Multi-bajillion dollar company. So what came out of that actually is that they do a shoe called One, which is spelt weirdly, and I can't even remember the actual spelling of it. So I actually might end up being a footwear millionaire, because I actually would like to get into that game. So you're going to
be a shoe salesman.
Yeah.
Okay. I never
Now,
thought I'd hear Scotty Brown is going to be a shoe salesman. Like,
Al Bundy.
you know how I picture this? With your little suitcase going door to door as a little shoe salesman.
Yeah, like that. What's that dude, Dave? What was his name from Tiger and ended up being Nike, and now he's doing okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Whatever. Anyway, so that will probably, that's something that is definitely on my radar. And once I get this next few weeks out of the way and everyone goes back to work, we're going to try and make something happen with that. Anyway, so I met up with him, then flew from there to Barcelona. I spent a couple of days in Barcelona. Wasn't a massive fan of Barcelona, to be honest. Got a rental car, drove up towards Girona, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours drive north. Now, Girona is without question like the hub cycling capital of professional cycling now. Multiple teams run their franchises from there. Multiple bike riders call that home. Giro, who's a very, very close friend of mine, as you know. I call him Giro. Have you frozen, or are you just not interested? I mean, I'm looking at you going, oh, fuck, the internet's down. I've never seen anyone less interested than you.
I'm listening. Gero, I'm listening. Mate, I'm just going to get through this.
Christ. Okay, well, do you want me to keep going? So,
yes, no, please do, sir. Please.
Right, so I'm trying to paint this picture. So I drive to the beach, stay the night there, meetings in 48 hours, drive into Girona. I'm like, ugh, okay. Kind of get it, but what's all the fuss about? Go through Girona, like central, hit Old Town. Holy fuck, Gus! Like, it's next level. Now, Harry Talbot resides there now. Met up with Harry. It was a beautiful dinner that I paid for, by the way, and I haven't got a book. But yeah, Harry and I met up for dinner there. We did the Factor meeting. It was exceptional. So the reason I was there with Factor is it was their global meeting, but it was actually the real last sort of meeting around the new Factor One that was just launched a couple of weeks ago, which of course you were there at the store helping with that global launch on the 17th of December. Absolutely insane bike. The dust has settled a wee bit. Like there's not so much noise, but I know that once some of the pro teams and the continental teams start riding those with some victories, we're going to see them. So yeah, a lot came out of that meeting. It was exceptional. David Miller was there, ex-pro. You know more about him than I do. He now runs the sort of sales and marketing division of Factor because the company's growing so much. Rob was there, of course, the company owner, along with John, who's my go-to. But also, Roman Bardet has got now some close connections with the company. Of course, he won multiple stages on a Factor in his heyday. And the other guy, what's his name? Bradley Wiggins.
Oh, Braddles.
He was there. He's a 10% shareholder. There's no secrets about that. So. Look, it was a powerful.
Wait, back that truck up. You mean Chris Froome?
Well, what did I say? Wiggo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a loser. Yeah, Froome, mate. I don't know why I said Wiggo. Yeah, Chris Froome.
Well,
so Chris Froome,
British Tour de France winners, I suppose, aren't they?
Of course. Yeah. Sorry. It's the country year. It's the country year. So it was really cool to meet up with him again from meeting him from last year. Definitely more down to earth this year because he was very much at every meeting and every part of the meeting because now he's I suspect he's probably spending a little bit more time being involved in the business now, not so much riding the bikes.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an amazing meeting. So yeah, we found out that they're not sponsoring the Israel Premier team anymore, or actually not going forward with any pro men's team. They're doing some incredible collabs next year. Like I just wish I could tell you who they're working with. They're working with a global artist. They're working with a global. I've got to be careful. What they're doing instead of sponsoring the men's team is doing some incredibly creative collaborations next year, which is going to absolutely blow the tits off people. It's so cool. And I've pre-ordered.
Oh, sorry,
Sorry.
go. You've pre-ordered what?
Oh, I've pre-ordered a lot of that stuff. I know it's coming. It's going to be wild when that's released. Like, if you've got an imagination and you want something special, 2026 with Factor is going to be the year. It is mind blowing. Yeah, it's gonna knock the socks off you.
Sponsoring or partnering or whatever you
Yep.
might call it, they are providing bicycles to I think they're Continental this year, are they? Is that what they are, or whatever they are? But Modern Adventure Pro Cycling, the George Hincapie team, is Factor sponsored. So Hincapie and David Miller, they're together, from what I understand, to get that deal through. I guess surprise there, George Hincapie. He's talked about it for a long time, trying to get a team together. They're obviously trying to go back to the pro, to the take that team all the way through to the World Tour. Be interesting to see how that goes for the Hincapie Armstrong tie up there. But anyhow, the big notable thing is there that Ben Oliver has signed with that team and will be racing for Modern Adventure Pro Cycling for the George Hincapie team this year.
Yeah, correct. And look, that's not just good for New Zealand cycling. That's good for his brand. I think there's going to be a lot of noise about that team. I think there'll be a lot of noise about the team either way because of the connections.
Correct.
But if they start doing extremely well, I think that is going to be the first step in a few steps that are going to lead into a ladder that takes them straight to the Tour de France. No doubt.
Will Johan be there, do you think?
I'm glad you did that. So I think that team's got. I think you're right. I think that team is super cool. The Factor's still sponsoring Team Armani, but they're also sponsoring the First Girls Continental team. Am I correct, or is it Pro Team?
Actually, I don't know what they're actually listed under.
I think they're Pro Team actually, but I could be wrong. But look, to fund a is it African team? I think it's
Team Armani is the African team, yeah.
And a women's African team at that is like. Well, what I want to say is I can't, but like it's just fucking amazing. And then they're also looking after the girls' pro team HCH again. So
Human powered.
Is it HCH?
HPH, human powered health.
Yeah, human powered health.
And actually, are they still looking after, what are they? Legion of Los Angeles, the Williams brothers.
Yeah, they are. They're still doing that. Yeah, and what they're also doing this year, which is really interesting, is in the gravel scene. And there was a lot of talk about gravel, Gus, and I know that you're a big gravel fan, and there's lots of growth in that sport, as you know. It's just gone leaps and bounds, and now in New Zealand, it's finally got some traction. So I'm sure you can lead into some great conversations about that after this. But they're actually not sponsoring any teams; they're sponsoring amazing individuals with either street cred or potential. Not with. They're not trying to sell bikes with likes. Like, it doesn't matter. They're not trying to sponsor individuals based on social media. What they're trying to achieve is have 15 to 20 individual athletes that all feed them like incredible information and feedback on the bikes, so that they don't fucking just stand up there and go, "Oh, we want to make the best bike." Like, when they say it, you know the difference between someone saying it and someone passionately saying it. You can feel it. So they're standing in that room talking about this. Like, the passion from David's lips, the passion from Rob's lips, like it's real. They are absolutely, undeniably trying to make the very best bikes ever been made on the planet Earth.
Mm.
Like, that's their goal. So they're not just trying to do some cool paint jobs, which they are. They are trying to make the best bikes ever made. And so the individual sponsorships with some really very, very cool athletes, including Roman Bardet, I think, who's riding for Rafa. It's super, super cool. So there's going to be lots of talk about Factor. There's going to be lots of talk about the athletes on Factor this year. And, of course, it's great to have a few Kiwis on those bikes too, mate.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking... There's plenty of other bike brands we probably should and will ever talk about. But tonight it's about Factor.
And like, I own a bicycle store, right? And our success is based on selling great bikes. And there's some great bikes. I don't want this to be the Factor show, but, like, if this podcast was with one other person and that one other person had come with me, they'd be talking, like you can't help but get caught up in it. And I've been to Specialized and I've been to Trek and those sort of things too, mate. And you do tend to come away from those meetings incredibly inspired. But it's generally inspiration from some marketing guys or the sales team, not from guys like David Miller or Rob or, do you know what I mean? It's just it's a different feel. And
they were referred. I mean, look, because you sold me. You.
I sell it to you, you buy it.
Well, yeah. I've got two of the things. Love my Factors to bits. Most amazing thing to ride. But they're also, I think we mentioned it in another podcast that I mentioned as they were like an Instagrammers, influencers bike there for a while. But like you say, incoming this season, as you're telling us, I haven't seen the most amazing, I'm guessing, colorways and collabs and all sorts of things coming, pushing the boundaries of doing things differently in the bike industry, right? Like, so instead of just a plain bike and it's blue or it's candy apple red this year or it's whatever, they're actually trying to do something fun and cool and because that's where cycling's gone. Everybody dons the new fancy matching kit and got the right length socks and bibs and all of those things go along nowadays. It's a fashion show, isn't it? Almost nowadays.
Oh, definitely. And look, and if that's in many cases, then so be it. It's no different than when you get into your car. You want to feel you don't want to feel special, and then when you get out of it, you look back at it. That's cool. It's no different. It's no different than spending a really beautiful night in a nice hotel room instead of staying in a hostel. Like, that's just the way it is, right? And as you get a bit older, you appreciate those things more. But look, I think I'm super excited about bikes in general. I think there's some dumb UCI shit that we don't need to talk about because it'll just depress us. But when you've got companies like Factor going, okay, well, give us the rule book, and we'll just do whatever we can within those rules. And what Factor feels like to me, mate, is it feels like triathlon, because triathlon, there's no boundaries. And you watch the top triathletes using these fucking crazy bikes, and they're allowed to have any setup. And what actually happens, there's the odd fringy guy, but in essence, the bikes don't end up being crazy, and the setups don't be crazy because everyone pulls their head in and goes, well, we've got no rules, so let's just do the very best we can. And sometimes being really stupid about something doesn't work. And it sort of self-levels, if you know what I mean. What happens when there's fences up, people want to jump them.
If there's a rule, you want to bend it, right? But the thing with the UCI is F1, it's got rules, it's got regulations, but they allow them to push the boundaries to build new aerodynamic wings and things and whatnot. And so they should, for the pinnacle of motorsport, the pinnacle of the motoring world. So they should. Pro cycling should allow these bike manufacturers to push the boundaries of a bicycle and come up with new things. They've been selling the same triangular frame 2-wheel buddy device since 18 whatever it is, so but right, before we move on, because this is not a Factor advertisement, but let's talk about the one. Let's talk about the one. Before we talk about the one, let's talk about the night that was the one at Scotty Brown's Bike Emporium. The release, we've been over there, we've done that bit. We've come home and you put on a really special evening at the Emporium for some special customers.
Yeah, and look, there's a lot of customers that didn't get the email. There's a lot of customers that somehow missed out, and I still feel super bad about that. Like, we had, there should have been, 100 more people there, and for whatever reason, they didn't open their email on time, or went to their spam, or we had their email wrong, or whatever the case may be, and we use multiple systems within our business for different types of media or whatever. So, I do apologise for that, but ultimately we're going to do a few more of those, and Sandra will be taking care of those over the next few weeks. I'll send her an email today, so it's going to be a very fun few months. But Factor Night was really good. We had to be very, very careful. We didn't want to be the guys in the world that released the bike prematurely, so we did that secretly at the store. We had some great partnerships with Southern Specialist Cars. You guys came along and helped and worked and set up a really great night. We had a couple of the Bogan boys with big exhausts on their cars doing burnouts down the street. It was super fucking cool. And yeah, so we had some supercars there, and we had bikes on supercars, and then we had the launch, and everyone played by the rules, and we had an incredible night. People got to see the bike almost before anyone else in the world. In fact, they did, because our release party was prior to the launch. There was just no taking photos. It was a very successful night. It was a lot of fun, and the Factor One's just wild, mate. There's no other word for it. It's pushing the boundaries. It's fast. It's 3 to 4K an hour quicker by just jumping on it. It's not just a picture. It does look very crazy. It's a bit like a pair of Oakleys. It's a bit crazy, but they're cool. We're going to have a couple of bikes for test riding in the store. I'll be doing a road show in Auckland with Kiwi Velo in probably 3 or 4 weeks' time to showcase and show off the bike up there through Gill Traps and that. Very, very cool bike and state of the art, and it's turned the cycling world upside down, mate.
Have you ridden yours?
Yeah, I have. I'll be honest. I know I went far. I didn't have my Garmin on. I know I was going faster than normal for 2 reasons. One, I didn't want to get caught not going fast. But I'll be honest, like it's such an incredible bike that needs to be dialed in. So I had 28mm tires on it. Wrong choice. Like, I know this, I should be saying it's this, and this, but what the bike is harsh, to someone like me who doesn't ride a lot. Don't get me wrong, I was training a lot, but I wasn't riding my bike. Like, you need to have 30 or 32mm tires on that bike if you're a weekend warrior. Have to. Setup's really important. So there's 2 different types of bars. There's one that sits 20mm higher than the other one. Again, if you don't have the correct fit, it feels a bit weird. The seat post has 2 laybacks, one long layback and one forward lay. It's called zero post. You need the zero post on because the whole way you sit on a bike now is that you sit very, very forward, like Pogacar. And Tade, when he sits on the bike now, is very upright. Hips are very open, right over the front wheel. So that's a very, very important part of the purchase of that bike and the using of that bike. Is you have to be very open-minded to a new bike fit, because it's just the way of the future, and it works because Tade's proven that, and multiple people are now proving that with new setups. So that forward position, open the hip flexors. It's an Anthony Chapman. Anthony was ahead of his time. And I hope he hears this, because there's been so much talk about, just not disrespectful talk to Anthony, but just like, God, really, can it make that much difference? And he was ahead of his time. He was right. There's absolutely no question that if you've had a bike from Anthony Chapman over the last few years, he put you in a position that was futuristic. Because now all the pros are riding that position. It's amazing. So bravo to Anthony Chapman here in Christchurch, one of the world's best bike fitters by chance.
Well, Chappie's always done mine. So, yeah. Now, I did, the perfect, I was thinking about where would be a perfect ride for one of these ones. And I just happen to know this guy. I just know this guy. I know this guy. And he does this podcast called Chew the Fat, and he's actually also going to be the cyclist for a team at Coast to Coast.
Yeah, I can see where you're heading, and I think you should. 100% you should. And I'll say it on this forum. If you want to borrow my bike, get into it. You should. It's 3K an hour quicker. 100%. You'll be using the pink and grey Scotty Brown machine at the Coast to Coast. Done. Deal done.
How about it?
But the thing about it is that the whole bike's been designed, Gus, around a few fundamentals. One, 30 to 32mm tyres, which I just pointed out I was riding 28s. Total fucking failure. The bike's been completely designed around shorter cranks, which shorter cranks are now on bikes that were never designed for shorter cranks. So everything about this bike is modern, from the way the cable comes out to the disc brakes on the front wheel, to the back, to the way the seat post sits in the bike, to the way that the form of the front end fits aerodynamically, but also is aesthetically beautiful, because Rob is like a OCD aesthetics guy. So if it's going to serve a purpose, it also has to look pretty. So great. Get the numbers right, but it's got to look nice on the wall. You should use it, and I'd be honoured if you did, because I think it'll absolutely blow your mind.
Oh, well, that would be cool to maybe give it a wee whirl, give it a spin.
Deal done.
It'd be yeah.
Right, you want to talk about Adelaide? You're about to jump on a plane and go to Adelaide.
Wait, before we go, I got one more thing about the factor night that you had. I'm
Yeah.
curious to know, is there anybody out there? Well, I'll pretend this. You had the factors all in the back room, curtain down, so you couldn't see to start with before we went in there, before we were allowed in there. And then it was one of your tables out just before that was had to put your phone, had to leave your phone behind outside before you went in, so that you couldn't be tempted to take any photos. Now, I am curious to know if any of our listeners, one, came to your event, two, happen to have any random selfies on their phone that weren't there before they went into the other side of the to look at the factor one. I heard a rumor that there might be a few cheeky selfies of people that don't actually own the phone hanging on some phone somewhere. So keen to flush out if anybody ended up with a bit of an extra photo there somehow.
Oh God, do I need to hear that? I
can't disclose where I heard that.
Right.
I just hear these things. People tell me these things, Scotty.
Right. Okay. Well, you don't need to tell me. I don't need to hear that shit. To be honest, I'm not running a fucking daycare. Yeah. Anyway,
right.
I'm going to start. So you didn't want to talk about Adelaide, so now I'm going to talk about me again. So I'm going to. My shoulders are really fucked. I'm hoping to go and see Grant or Tamsin in the next week or so to try and fix these things up, because I can categorically tell you that if I needed surgery prior to that burpee challenge, I need it now. I tried 100 burpees the other day just off the bat. It was pretty sore, but I'm going to start my career of bike riding and running again, because I'm going to do another fat camp in either Bali or Thailand, and probably sometime in March, I think, thinking about it anyway. So yeah, from my, because I did this, my whole thing was from fat to fit. So I've had about 6 weeks of like not being able to do much and being pretty like kind of down about the fact that I haven't got movement in my shoulders and it's hard to move, and running doesn't really do it for me. So by the time we have this next podcast, I think I can rip my top up.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Don't run though. Don't run.
Yeah, there's something fucking magical about like running though, isn't it? Because if you can and you can jog down the road, it's like, it's such a like bang for buck. So good.
It's there's a whole lot less admin in trying to go for a run. Just put a pair of shoes on. But oh man, it's not good for the knees and legs and body. Christ, you're too old, Scotty Brown.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, we'll talk about that. Right, so you're off to Adelaide, and the reason you're going to Adelaide is because the tour down under starts what? Sunday?
Starts. Well, that's a really good point, isn't it? No, the women's race starts on Saturday. I want to say Saturday. Starts Saturday, I think. I'm just actually quickly trying to look at that. I can't actually remember what day. I don't know. We just arrived there, right? So I think Friday night's the team presentation.
Yeah.
So that's a cool night to go to watch them all glide up onto the stage and do their thing. Yeah. And then there's 4 days of women's or something, and then into the men's. Now, this year's actually quite different. It's quite cool. The last stage of the women's race is in Tanunda, and the first stage of the men's race is going to be in Tanunda. So and it's a wee way to go out there. A lot of people, you may ride, but there's a train that goes out there to 3/4 of the way out, then you ride the next bit. But anyway, they're going to have both races, the women's race finishing and the men's race starting, all out there at once. So that's going to be a hell of a good day, that is, of bike riding. We'll go to Wollonga. We'll go up the Wollonga Hill probably a couple of times by the sounds of it, because both the women's and the men's are going, are having Wollonga stages.
You've been to Wollonga before?
So we went last year for our very, very first time. First time I've ever been to a pro bike race, and we just had the most fabulous time that we went, shit, we're gonna go back again. So we're going back again. Now we know a bit more as well about what we're going to do over there. That'll be even easier. But Wollonga, it is all of what you see on television in a European hilly stage type thing and more. It's very cool.
Yeah, no, you do. If you haven't been overseas and you go to Adelaide, you do get very spoiled. I can categorically tell you that the Tour de France is not quite the same, although it has gives you more goosebumps than say Adelaide. But yeah, the ability in Adelaide to be so close to those riders, Gus, and not just when they're racing either, but just at the hotels. Adelaide's got a great vibe. It's the sister city to Christchurch, as you probably know, so it has that kind of like hometown feel. The weather always seems to be goddamn brilliant, although I think last year, from memory, it got super hot.
Super hot, no wind. Super hot,
Yeah,
no wind.
yeah.
And
you know what I haven't done? Have you been to the beach in Adelaide?
Yep. Been to there's a couple. There's Henley Beach, and then there's whatever the other one's called. Yep.
My
Yep.
understanding, it's really nice.
Beautiful beaches.
Yeah, interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
There is so much to do in Adelaide. But the cycleway, the cycle network, their investment in cycle network inside the township, but then also connecting to the far wide area. Like you can ride to Wollonga, which is I think about 70k. Oh no, maybe not. Maybe it's 50 or 60 k's one way or something. And it's almost all on cycleways going out there, like alongside the motorway. That's awesome. Like their infrastructure for cycling is second to none, and their hills, like up Montague or up up past the Corkscrew and things. The hills, great climbs. There's I can't remember what it's called, the gorge road.
Incredible road surfaces though too, mate.
Hey,
sorry, I interrupted you. The road surfaces are
beautiful,
amazing. Oh yeah, it's amazing.
You can see why everybody congregates there, and I mean that is the other thing, right? Like half of Christchurch is going, half of New Zealand cycling population will be going, as they always do. But the town is just full of everybody like-minded cycling, and the brands do. There's the race village, obviously, that's got everything in it and all the displays and everything. But all the brands do something as well. So all the brands are there doing, be it MAP or Peddler or Rafa or whoever, right? And they're all holding group rides, podcast. Like last year we went to Life in the Peloton, one of Mitch Docker's podcasts that was a live recording, all sorts of cool stuff. There's so much stuff that goes on there along the way. So it's ride a bit during the day, go and see some stage, or go to the start, go to the finish, do whatever, and then there's something on every night along the way. It's just got to be done. It's actually so cool. And actually on that, I suppose as well, with these things, I must say a big thank you to Rafa, who would you believe are actually looking out for us when we get over there in a wee way. They've got some kit that they've got there for us so that we all look matching on our little small group that we're going to. So that's really cool that they're going to look after us there.
Do they realise how big you got? Because that's a lot of material that they're going to have to give away.
Yeah, okay, touche. But they get half of that back because we're going with Craig Kizanowski. You know how big he is, so they actually only need half the material for him. So it'll balance itself out.
So it balances out nicely.
It'll be net mediums.
I love it. Hey, do you know the last time we were talking, we were only halfway through the Formula One season, and that Norris won the Formula One, and I'm fucking happy about that. I like him. You don't like him, eh? Why do people not like him?
No. It's not that I don't like him. It would have been great for Oscar to win.
Oh, it'd be great for Lewis Hamilton to win too. But he didn't win. You don't like Lewis Hamilton?
Nah.
See, I like Lewis Hamilton's pants.
Fuck, I bet you do.
Oh, you're such a douche.
And his big woolly cardigan and things that he wears and his
fucking kills that.
Yeah, I mean.
Anyway, he's not a very old guy. Has nice eyes, and he won it. And his skin's quite dark. He probably doesn't need the money, but he may never win another one. But it's cool for a kid to win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool for a kid to win.
They're almost all kids there now.
Yeah, but he won a championship over what we know as one of the world's best ever drivers. And Verstappen didn't win, and I'm kind of happy about that, to be honest.
So I agree, Verstappen and that Red Bull team at the top of their game, right? So they beat the pinnacle essentially.
Yep.
Being said, Jesus, if they had had another one more race or two more
True.
races in the season. Holy, the back half of the season for Verstappen,
It was hauling, wasn't it?
yeah, but McLaren made some stupid mistakes along the way too, right? But however, I agree, and we must always celebrate the fact that McLaren, with its heritage on top there, back to Kiwi land there. So
yeah, that's
this
pretty
year's
cool.
going to be even better, I think. I'm really looking forward to Cadillac coming in. I think it'll be. I mean, anything with Valtteri Bottas, and it's going to be funny, nonetheless, and it's going to bring attention to. I'm not to whatever they're doing. I'm not so excited about Buddy Checo, but I think the Cadillac thing will be a failure. That's my call. They won't. I don't think they'll. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think they'll come out swinging.
Right. Do you think it's more to sell their product and give them awareness? A little?
Is it not, if I cast my mind back, is the Cadillac thing not the way around, and is it not the way Andretti got his way around to getting the team in? Is that not what happened? Andretti was trying to get in, but for some reason couldn't because of whatever other tie, and then they made it Cadillac. I can't remember. No, I mean, look, shit, the more they get in the bid, Audi taking over the Sauber thing, that'll be great. It's going to be good for the sport, full stop. I will be surprised if ever there's a year, this is the year to come at it, because it's a whole new chassis, new power plant. There's a lot of news this year, which equals it out a little bit. But crikey, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Liam Lawson's got a bit to prove this year.
Yeah. I watched him in an interview on, where was he? I think was it he wasn't at Pukekohe, Highlands.
He was at Hampton in the weekend, but he's down at Highlands a few weekends ago. He's down at Highlands.
He was at Hampton Downs because the Formula 2s were racing up there, and he was talking. He likes the word very, very. He said that all the time. It's very, very good and very, very exciting. But I do hope he does good. I really do. Like, not just for New Zealand. I don't know him. He's never given me anything. I've never given him anything. But I still think if he deserves to be there, it'll be great. It's great for New Zealand, and it does add another dimension, because a Kiwi has a different attitude and a different way to drive, because Kiwis are Kiwis, right? I think it's cool, and he's got
I just want success out of it because he's a Kiwi. He's not my favourite driver, but he's also not a guy who's gone in there with pocketfuls of money and bought his way into his daddy's Formula One team or anything like that, or has bumped somebody out because he belongs to Honda or whatever. He's had to do, us Kiwis have to do that the absolute hardest way possible, and still prove that pure talent, because you cannot take it away. The guy has talent to boot to pedal one of those things like he does. So it's great to see somebody on pure talent actually going through like it should.
Yeah, and this modern chassis and this modern power plant you talk about that might be the catalyst for someone who's young and modern to actually do extremely well, because it's not going to handle like a V10 old school car that some of the other guys would be used to, right? I'm sure it's going to be dramatically different, and so that might suit some of these younger drivers that potentially spent more time in karts or more time in what are they called, sims. Maybe.
I'm just quickly looking, including 25. So Fernando is back for another year, is he? I'm just having a look here. Fernando Alonso, is he back for another year? I think he is still back there with the Aston Martin team.
Yeah, I hope his son gets fired.
I think they had moved him on. I thought somebody else was taking over that. Maybe not. But anyway, cool to see Fernando still hanging in there at 40 something years old or whatever he is.
I think he's probably a very good driver, obviously, still. But he obviously brings something to the team, a bit like bringing some of those older All Blacks back that, you can't replace the years and years of being there. It must bring something to the team.
Yeah, but often they put them into some sort of support role though. They don't actually leave them out there.
Leave them out there. Yeah, it's true. Have you got anything? I reckon so. That's 54 minutes or so, mate. I think we could talk. We could go around in circles, and I reckon you should go pack for Adelaide.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go jump on the tramp with old Ginga Boy in there, and I don't think I've got much else to say. What I do want to say in an open forum is that 2025 at the bicycle store that I've had for 33 years now was a very different experience for me, and that I want to pat on the back every single person that turns up to that store day in, day out. The guys in the workshop have blown me away on multiple levels, multiple times throughout the year. I advertised, and I'm still looking, and it will happen, for a doer. And the reason that the word doer was such a pivotal part and such an important part of that campaign, which we're still probably going to be pulling back into life soon, is that the guys at the store are doers, mate. And I go in there and I thank them and I high five them, but you know how sometimes you need to be in a different forum to hear it and appreciate it. Well, this is it for me. Like, I want, Aiden, who's my business partner, but works there like he works for me. He's just a phenomenal guy. Matt, who came on, Sandra, Rach down south. We've got new Aiden, Simon, Tony. We've got Sean. Just an incredible bunch of humans that turn up like it's their own, complete doers, and give me the opportunity to work on the business, do great things for the cycling community, have a bit more of a life and not get burnt out. So I just want to say a massive, massive thanks. I know there's not very many people listening, and they may never hear this, but it does make me feel better, Gus. If I was one of them, and the guy that ran the show said that to me, it would mean something, and so I hope it does. I'm extremely grateful, and I'll never forget it until my will, which I'll leave them something in that.
Well, here, well said. On that note, of our 6 listeners that are listening, Sandra can work her magic and clip that little piece that you've just said out, and we can actually put that out to some real listeners.
If cool. I'd like that. Because it does, it's so easy to overlook those sort of things, and the names on the door and the glory. You've got a great shop. Yeah, I have, but I haven't really. We have, and. I'm not too proud or egotistical to say that wouldn't be anything without the people around me. So it's it's so motivating to go over to, say, Factor. I know that sounds easy, but it's actually a bit of a job, and it's not quite it's more sexy than going to, say, Invercargill, but it's still work. And you go over there and you throw $1 million of your own money at forward ordering, and you come back and the guys are high fiving you because you're back and passionate and interested, and they realize that with that, they're going to have, great secure jobs and be part of this, phenomenal, franchise that we've got. It's just phenomenal, mate. And I could say this is fucking incredible and fuck this and everything, but it deserves better than that. It's just a thank you, mate. I'm so over the moon and so proud to call all those guys and girls my friends and business family. It's unbelievable. So I hope this couple of minutes doesn't get lost in the noise, and that they hear it and know that I'm forever grateful, because the 2025 was a saving year for me, mate.
Well, we did miss the normal opportunity to say thanks. Because we were MIA. We didn't do a Christmas one. We didn't do a New Year's one or anything like that along the way to say thank you to everyone. But 2025, like you say, thanks to everybody. 2026, though, my friend, 2026, you mentioned something really important, the cycling community, and our intention. Well, actually, in the words of Valtteri Bottas, what's next? As he made famous there for a wee while. What's next for Chew the Fat podcast? Well, there's a podcast studio being sort of semi-built to make this a bit more of a permanent fixture. So that's exciting on its own.
Yep. And I hope it does. Like that's not just going to motivate us because we're going to throw some tin at it, and now our ass is on the line. But we're going to have our own way home. I don't think that Chew the Fat is the name we're going to end up with. I think we're going to change that. I know you don't know that, but I'm just putting that out there. I think we're better than that. We needed to start with something, but I think we're going to have our own brand that's going to mean something. And I think in 2026 we've got some great people that we can have on this forum. I instantly think of someone like Roman Bardet, who would be, his English isn't great, but would be very happy to come in for 5 minutes. Live from France. I think we should talk to some other athletes from different sports. So I think there's some real credibility and some real there's some real learning from some other sports and athletes. I think the people that listen to this are genuinely interested in certain aspects of sporting. It doesn't matter what that is. I think Hamish Kerr would be someone that we could have a quick talk to because, again, it's just a great sportsman. I think of Darren Shand. I think if Gero could come back on, and then there's some really great day-to-day people that aren't sports people that haven't won Olympic medals but are incredibly inspiring, who actually do a lot for lots of people day in day out, but just don't have the gold medal or don't have the glory. So I hope the podcast room that or the studio that we set up, Gus, helps us get to the next level that we're both so we're dying to do.
Yeah, so that's the podcast that we're going to try and we're actually going to have some regularity to. We promise you that.
Yep.
And although we said we wouldn't make promises, but there you go. There's the first one. Anyway, outside of that, we had some great success last year. Our first one was with Gero. We had a night with Gero at Frank's place. That was a hell of a success. We've just come off the back of November, late November there, we had a night at the Emporium with Cam Jones, of which unfortunately you were still trying to get yourself back and you didn't get, but you missed one hell of a good night with Cam Jones, of course, the 2025 Unbound Gravel winner and lifetime Grand Prix champion. So if you know anything about gravel, you know what that is, and you'll know who Cam is. But man, what a success those nights were, and I'd love to see. I'd love to see some more nights at the Emporium.
I have to interrupt that. I was gutted. Everybody that went to that night that you guys organised, Gus, were just absolutely blown away. Not just with his charisma, but also your charisma too, mate. The ability to ask the right questions and have great conversations. So bravo to you. And I haven't yet been able to personally thank Cam directly, but of course, messaged him and stuff. And again, what a great athlete, what a great Kiwi to have on the world stage, mate. Unbelievable. So no, I did forget about Cam's night. It was bravo, mate.
Yeah, classic night, great night. Some great stories. Wish we actually had have recorded it in some way, shape, or form. But look, for those that came, it made it more special because nobody else got all of that good chat. But so anyway, more nights at the Emporium, do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Like, we've got some the ability to put in front of people that want to turn up some incredible people. I mean, not just athletes, but great business people, great athletes, tutors. I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, I think it needs to be. Well, I think it can be more than just sports people. But ultimately, we've got a bucket full of incredible sports people that are very close to us that would love to do a night. So no, absolutely, and I think I've talked to Sandra about this. She's going to be my go-to for events, and I have these wild ideas and quite often can't pull them off because I'm trying to do everything myself. And so, thankfully, Sandra's put her hand up and said, just tell me what you want, we'll get it done. So we've got some raffle rides coming up, Gus. We've got a women's raffle ride, a boys raffle ride, which Sandra will organise. We'll be stopping at a coffee shop or having coffee at the store again, just building that community. And then look, it's just a matter of organisation to get some other athletes in. So it's at some point it might be worth even asking that question. I just wish we had more people listening and following us that could could give us some ideas, but we could certainly do that through my social. Who do you want to see? Is it Brian Fowler, for example, who was one of the world's best bike riders, who anyone from that era has talked about, that if he'd just fucking gone over there and given it everything, would have been one of the world's best ever bike riders, hands down. Is it Giro again for a second night at a different location that's in a different feel? Is it Roman Bardet? Is it is it Wigo? Because could be. It could be.
I tell you, it won't be.
Who?
Well, let's just say I never thought I'd get to this point in my cycling career and have the same amount of Tour de France wins as him.
Anyway, I reckon we have some good. No, absolutely. No, we want to do. Again, it's one of those things where you want to do it, but if you don't put your hand up and get someone to help you, it doesn't happen. So, yep, watch the space a couple of times this year. I'd love to do that again.
Choice.
And one last thing I am going to put out there is that I am quite interested in going back and doing. I know it always comes back to me, but I guess that's the nature of this thing, isn't it? It's all about the ego. I think I'm going to go back to Thailand and do a boot camp. And I might put it out there that some other blokes can come over and do the same. It's boxing, spin classes, CrossFit. 10 days over there just going hard, just training and eating, sleeping, training, eating and sleeping. I'm pretty keen to do that, so I might put that out there.
Right. Okay.
You can do it.
I'll be okay. No, I'll be okay. I don't probably need to, come on everything. I don't think I need. No.
You'd love it. Boxing. No? Okay. Anyway, no, I promise you some great nights, and it'll happen because someone else is helping me.
Right. We have officially chewed the fat for 1 hour and 6.
Yeah, mate. Have a great time in Adelaide. Enjoy the heck out of it. Soak it up. It's for you. It's not a once in a lifetime, but every time you go is a different time. So it is really a once or a next in a lifetime. Enjoy the heck out of it. It's well deserved, mate. I know you don't drink a lot, but have a couple of beers over there. Have some nice wine. Enjoy the atmosphere, and say good day to Giro.
Yeah, no doubt he'll be there too, I suppose, will he?
100%.
Oh, I better flick him a message, eh? Or actually, could you do that?
He's changed his number, mate. I'll flick him a message.
Good. Oh, we'll keep our eye out for. I'll make sure I'm wearing an SB T-shirt there.
Yeah.
Along the way. No, look, cool. Right, good. Actually, some of the reason was doing this now was because we were about to go to Adelaide, and I thought, well, let's just do this pre-one now, and then we'll have something to talk about again in another few weeks' time, right? So,
yeah, I don't think anyone's going to get to the end of this. I think it was very average as far as my side goes, Gus. I'm just happy that we've started it again. One thing that did come up a couple of times, mate, just on the off chance of people listening, there was a couple of people that said to me, I must have brought up, how life is hard sometimes. Maybe not like depression as such, but there was maybe I would sort of steered towards that life isn't always that simple and shit goes down. Anyway, a couple of people had talked to me about that and mentioned, it was really nice to hear a boy that we know, and potentially, I guess what they were trying to say is, fuck, who would have thought, that you and I and, normal people, if you want to call us that, go through those sort of things. And I think it's almost worth having a 2-minute sesh every time, not to dwell on negativity, but this month's been this. There's just a couch session, because it often takes someone or someone that you know who you didn't think was fragile to make a difference and just say, hey, you know what? I'm not alone. So anyway, I don't think it's all about people topping themselves. I think it's more about, sometimes you just don't have to be in a dark place alone, or if you are alone, being in a dark place, someone out there's got your back. And so, there's some hope.
Yeah, it's good shout. Good shout. Good shout at the end of the pod. If anybody's actually listened, going back to what you said, it's not about anyone else. This was always just really about you and I going to have a chat, really, wasn't it? Really, who cares who listens or what listens? It was really about us having a chat. But I need to concur with what you said just then. You know, the reason one of the reasons that this did stop last year is because I ended up in a pretty big hole, and I thank you, Mr. Brown, for being there throughout that period as well while that was all going on. So,
oh mate, my pleasure. Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? Like you just say to someone, if you need me, I'm there. And I'm sure that you probably heard that, but you didn't really ask for anything, and nor did you need to. But I wonder if at one day at 4 o'clock, if I'd rung you, it might have been the perfect day to give you a call, and so I'm not kicking myself about that sort of thing, but I do overthink that, because sometimes I think, God, I wish someone would ring me, even though I'm fucking sick of the phone going. It's not about the people that you love that's close. It's just sometimes they're not the right people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100% know what you mean. More than anybody, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but what I will say though, mate, taking all that aside, it's really great to have you back. You're a very special human, certainly to me anyway. You I'm not a big fucking fan of that moustache, but you're a great human, and I adore you, mate.
So, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know what you said, and I don't want to hear it. But the next one will be great, Gus. It's nearly 1:13. Let's get rid of it before that. I thank you very, very much for taking the time, and I promise you I'm going to come with my best foot forward in a couple of weeks' time when you're back from Adelaide.
Righto. Appreciate it, big fella. Thank you for calling in. Thank you to everyone if you have listened this far. Let's do it again.
With some good content, because this was shit.
I'm back to this whole thing again. Like, fucking, how do I actually stop this? Like, what do I push to actually stop
this?
So rusty. No, I'm not worried about that. I'm actually worried about which button I actually have to push to cut it out. So,
that's it. Delete the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, we'll say bye.